Welcome to another edition of the Climb Your Mountain Movement, Everyday Leadership for Everyday People. I'm Dr. Justin, and I am so excited that you're here with me. Today, I want to talk to you about battle rhythm versus routine, the heavyweight fight of the world. And I hope that you will take the time today, grab your notepad, grab your notebook. Let's take some notes because what I'm about to share with you is going to help change your life. Really hope to show you how so many times you've been missing out on opportunities to make your life work for you because you were working somebody else's life for them. Stay tuned. Let's get to it. All right, battle rhythm versus routine. What are we talking about? Dr. Justin, come on, man. What are you talking about? Okay, here we go. Let me just be completely honest with you and transparent with you about how hard it is, or is it, to accomplish the things that it is that you want to accomplish. Okay, so watch this. Secret sauce. Now, I have some slides for this. I'll throw some slides on there, but honestly, if you were looking at my slideshow right now, you would just see a picture of the secret sauce, okay? But here's the thing. The secret sauce for this whole little situation isn't that there's some special way in which you do certain things. No, it's just simply at the end of the day, an understanding and an awareness that you are presently doing other people's stuff that helps them accomplish their desires, instead of doing your thing to help you accomplish your desires. Okay? And I'm gonna help that make a little bit of sense. Go through this class, one of the things that I wanna show out with you is that there are certain ingredients that will help you to shape your world and end your journey with a sense of completion. So again, reminding us, right, that the metaphor we use here for accomplishing your journey is climbing a mountain. Draw a little mountain in the background. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, we're all on these mountain journeys, and every time you set a goal, you just write that goal in the bottom of your mountain. Change the world. All right, how do I help change the world? By creating a community of people who accomplish their goals and live with the confidence and the fullness that comes from knowing whatever it is that you decided to do, you were able to accomplish it. Now, how does that happen? It doesn't happen by accident. Okay, it happens because day in and day out, I have a battle rhythm. Now, another word for battle rhythm is the word routine. You've heard this word before. Routines are the way in which you do stuff. So, wait, why did you say battle rhythm versus routine? If you said that a battle rhythm is just another word for routine. That's a good question. And I'm glad you're smart enough to catch up with that. But here's the thing to understand. A routine is for someone else. A battle rhythm is life optimization. And I need you to understand that there's a difference between the two, okay? So what does this look like? On Monday, basically, you do roughly the same thing. You get up, you go to work, you come back home. Tuesday, you get up, you go to work, you come back home. Wednesday, you get up, you go to work, come back home. And who does that help accomplish their goals? Whoever you work for. Whoever is hiring you, whoever is exchanging some monetary value for your time, they're building their dream, and in their plan for how they're going to accomplish their life and live the way they want to live, it involves paying you and you showing up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this doesn't have to be an actual person. You could be showing up online. You could be hopping on your computer and logging in. You could be sitting there at your desk, answering phone calls, whatever that looks like. You're delivering pizza. You're helping somebody else's dream come true. So their routine for your life is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then allegedly you have Saturday and Sunday off. Okay? Now, a battle rhythm is different because it's a deliberate optimization of the things that you already do, but watch this, for the end goal that you desire. The end goal that you desire. And here's the reality, at least as far as I understand it. So y'all tell me in the comments if this is not something that you actually care about, and I won't do more videos about this. But if you actually are frustrated and tired because you realize that you're living somebody else's dream, you're working to make somebody else's dream come true, you're putting money in a retirement that means you hope one day to be able to spend it, but there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to spend it, and you don't know what's necessarily going to happen to it. You hope to live a lifestyle that is really fun and cool and relaxing. But also, if we're like stop and pause and think about it, you're going to be 60 plus or 55, 65, 75, and you're not going to be able to do half the things that you're doing in your 30s or 40s. So I'm exchanging my youth for a future when I'm older and can't do as much, but I'll have more money so that somebody else who's younger than me can now have whatever they want to have. That's how we want to live. Oh, okay, I didn't think so. No hands came up. This is a recorded video though, so Roger, I got that. But the point simply be, if you don't want to keep doing for somebody else, then you have to change it up and do something for yourself. So when I'm talking about a battle rhythm and not saying that it's the same as a routine, the difference is who's getting the benefit. And I'm gonna say, as long as you're doing a routine, somebody else is getting the benefit. But if you have a battle rhythm, then you get the benefit for yourself. All right, now let me just keep this, because I gotta bring this home. And some of you are still like on the fence. You're not really committed to it yet. When you go to work, consider you have a routine, right? Daily work hours, when you can go to the bathroom sometimes, when you can take a water break, when you get to eat. Sometimes that's the culture. Sometimes it's actually like wrote down in the SOP. And that schedule, you didn't create that schedule. You may be a night person. Coming in the morning is not optimal for you, but it's optimal for somebody else who does business at a different time, who needs an employee there at 8 a.m. So when they put that job advertisement out there that you responded to, it said you will be in work at 9 a.m. You will be being productive. So they're counting productivity hours based on people coming in to work at 9 a.m., but that's not you, because your best time to work would be 9 p.m. Let me keep going with this. That schedule has been optimized, that work schedule has been optimized to get the most out of your time in exchange for as few dollars as possible. And it's a battle routine for the company, it's a battle rhythm for the company, right? And you perform that same set of behaviors and actions for the organization every day for 40 years until they fire you. And there's a firing. Like, retire, yay, here's your little go, watch, hi, bye, it's fired. You've already got somebody who they're bringing in. And in your life, more often than not, those few hours when you're not working, those few hours, right? There are a mismatch of activities, random sleeps, hanging out with their friends, or scrolling. Anybody? Oh man, time just flew by. I don't know what happened. Scrolling. And you look up and time has flown by and 40 years went by, and you look back on your life, and here's the part that kills me for you on your behalf of you. You have regret. You have guilt. You wish, man, if only I could have. I should have. Why didn't I? I don't want that to happen. Your most precious asset is time. I'm gonna write this right here. Secret sauce. Time. And what you do with it. You must make every available moment count. And battle rhythm is the secret sauce to making your time matter the most. All right, do I got some believers? Are y'all with me? Okay, so let's go. Let's fix this. Let's start the process of fixing it. Okay, now here's the thing. What I'm gonna ask you to do, how we're gonna develop this idea, you've already done it, okay? But what you have not done is do it for yourself. So the first thing we have to do, okay, is we have to bring in awareness. I need you to become aware of the routines that you're doing so that you can optimize them into your battle rhythm. And if there's something that you don't actually like, you know now, I don't have to accept it, that I can change it. What? Yes, you don't have to accept it. It is okay if you change it. It is okay if you drive a different way. It is okay if you use a different toothpaste. It is okay if you eat a different food. One of the first times that I realized like I was a real grown up was when I ate dessert before breakfast. Look, it's me, it is what it is. But growing up in my house, you could never have dessert in the morning. In fact, usually we didn't have dessert unless it was in the evening, after dinner, but it couldn't be too close to bedtime. So this is a very small window. And if we were just finished eating and we turned around and asked for dessert, it was too soon. So we had to kind of just like find those few minutes to come in and be like, hey, can I get dessert? Oh, no, it's too late. Get some tomorrow. And tomorrow never came, unless it was the weekend. And then like Sunday afternoon, there would be dessert, and that was good. But otherwise, you wouldn't get no dessert. And then I realized one day, and like I had been growing for a good minute. I had cake and I was like, I don't want breakfast. I'm gonna slice a piece of cake and eat it. I remember just sitting there and eating this cake and being like, ooh, I'm a grown up now. Awareness. I needed to become aware that the control of my own life was in my hands. And it's the same thing for you. You need to come into the awareness that you are doing somebody else's life. Even though you're calling it your own, your routine is helping someone else become more powerful, more influential. They're making more money off of everything that you're doing. And if you're not optimizing that for your own, now watch this. I work a job. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur, but I do have a 9-to-5 that I work. And many times it starts earlier than 9 and goes much later than 5. And I'm okay with that because I'm trading time for space to attain what I want to accomplish. So when I needed to get a degree and then another degree and then another degree, I didn't want to pay for that out of my pocket. So I exchanged my hours of work for a job that would pay for my degrees. So then I could be able to later leave that job using the degrees they paid for so that I could do what I wanted to do. Woo! And if you understand that, then you understand why, yes, there's no problem if you're working. I'm not telling you go and give your 2 weeks notice to your boss and tell them, I will no longer work for you doing this same routine. I'm saying use that routine to accomplish and climb your mountain by turning it into your battle rhythm. All right, that was good. Hopefully you got that. Let me talk about it like this. Like I said, you already have a routine. You're already doing it. How do I become aware of what my routine looks like? It's a 2-week experiment, right? So I'm just gonna write here, awareness, 2 weeks. And this is what I need you to do. I need you to get yourself a notebook, a little journal, whatever. You're gonna see me mentioning journaling quite a bit throughout this process. So I'll just pause here to just make a sidebar comment. Your ability to write down what's going on with you is your ability to understand whether or not you're doing what you want to do. You cannot trust your brain to remember all the things that you've done throughout the day. And again, because I know some people who are going to be watching these videos maybe a little bit younger, and you're like, what's a journal, what's a book, whatever. Like you have, most of us on our either iPhones or our Androids, you have some kind of note app, right? You can use your note app to be your journal. If you could see all the ideas, all of the plans, all of the goals, all of the things, half of all the CYM, EL for EP, Lloyd Squared LLC stuff that we've built over the years are sitting on my phone in my little note app. Right? It's the way that I journal. It's easier than me having a literal journal right there on my desk, on my nightstand, although I do have that, right, to write down my thoughts. There are times when in certain situations I've pulled out a composition notebook and I just hand wrote out like just thousands of pages, not thousands, that's too many to write, but I've hand wrote out pages. Shoot, I've been times I was at my computer and I just started just open up a Word document and I'm just typing. This happens, it's not an issue. But the reason it matters is because I need the ability to look back and see that thought that sometimes strikes in a moment, but I missed it because I didn't write it down. And like I'm busy, because I'm working, because again, remember I said I'm exchanging this 9-to-5-ish for things that I want to do in the future. So I need to be able to capture that moment, that thought. So then when I get to the part of my day, which is optimized for my own success, then I have the ability to reference that, put myself back in that framework and that mindset, and then use that idea to accomplish what I need to accomplish. I'm in the process of writing, like as I'm making this video, which depending on when you're watching this video, this book may already be out. I'm in the process of writing yet another book. But when those book ideas came to me, I was driving. And so I grabbed my phone, tossed it back to my daughter, said, hey, open my notes app, write this down. And she proceeded to write down 10 things that I gave her, which are the 10 chapters of my newest book that I'm working on. And at the end of the day, now, after I dropped her off, I pulled my computer out and I sat in the parking lot and I went to work writing the chapters of that book. Okay? So journaling is important for enabling you. Writing stuff down is important for enabling you to capture an understanding of what's actually going on in your life. And when we're talking about breaking free of the routine to get into the battle rhythm, we have to be able to journal to capture that information. Okay, so here we are. Now we're coming back. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, right? I'm going to step down off that soapbox and get back to what we're talking about, our 2-week experiment. So I'm going to grab my journal, my note app, whatever it is that I'm doing. And for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to capture what it is that I do hourly. Okay, so week Sunday to Monday. So here we go. No, I said Sunday to Monday. I meant Sunday to Saturday. All right, so Sunday to Saturday. And y'all good? I'm gonna erase this because I don't want my board to get too low and get out the shot. So again, this is all under the subheading awareness. All right, so here we go. Monday. This is how my journal should be. Wake up. And I'll just put WU for wake up. You're gonna write the time. All right, activities. All right, did I eat? My other activities. Now we should probably be somewhere near lunch. Did I eat? And then bedtime routine. Okay, and these are the elements of my journal. And all I want to do is fill this in. So, woke up, 7:30 a.m., activities, bathroom, and you can shorthand it. It's your journal, right? There's no specific set of words that you have to write in there. So I hit the bathroom. Did I read my Bible? Did I read anything, right? Some of you, your first thing that you do is you read the news, and then you wonder why you have a negative day all day. Just a side note, we'll do that again on a different video. Did I eat? Yes or no? Yes. Coffee. Coffee's not breakfast, but okay, I understand. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to understand you, right? Didn't I go to work? All right, how long did I work? 9 to 7. And listen, I want you to capture when you left and when you actually got home. Okay, so really maybe like, because if you live in a place like Atlanta, your traffic was terrible. So you left an hour early to get to work, so 8 to 7 p.m. And then when you came home, you was tired, so you drank a beer, had a TV dinner. So dinner, yes. And then bedtime, a little social media scrolling for 2 hours, right? Because it's fun, right? The most fun thing that you did all day was hop on your bed at night and lay there and scroll on social media. It happens. There's no point in being mad about it. We want to be honest, okay? And listen, let me just go ahead and add this piece. Can I see? Oh, you can't. So I'm going to write this here. Honesty is key. Okay, it's your journal, it's your life. We're trying to bring awareness to it. So the last thing that you can afford to do is not tell the truth about what it is that you actually do. Don't build a routine like I'm gonna be sitting there judging you. Even if you're one of my coaching clients, I still don't want you to build a routine like I'm gonna sit there and judge you, because I'm not. Okay, the whole point of this exercise, and I need you to do this for 2 weeks, is for you to come into an understanding of how you do it. Because here's the thing, on Monday you might do something, but on Tuesday you do something different. And on Wednesday you do something different. And on Thursday you do something different. And we want to know what it is that you're doing. And we want to understand why it is that we're doing it. Again, am I doing it because it's routine? This is what somebody told me to do. For all my life, 18 years while I was in my parents' house, it was, you don't have dessert before breakfast. I did that because that was their rule. As a 30-year-old grown man, I realized, oh, hold on. I ain't nobody's child no more. I can have this dessert, right? I can weigh the odds, the pros and the cons, and make a decision. And guess what? My kids are like, hey, daddy, can I have dessert before breakfast? Nope, you sure cannot. Okay, sorry. So I want for 2 weeks you to go through, and I want you to honestly assess and become aware of what you do with your life and how you spend your time. Okay? And listen, this is going to be uncomfortable. Let me prepare you right now. Okay? This is going to be uncomfortable. And you and I am already uncomfortable with this. So like if somebody writes in this video, this sucks, and this is worse, and this is terrible, I will be okay with that because lots of people have told me that there are things that they wanted me to improve about myself. So it happens. Okay? I have to become uncomfortable. I have to become comfortable with uncomfortable truths. You must become comfortable with uncomfortable truths about the way you do things, the habits, and your execution. And you have to become accepting of your role in the direction and impact of your life. The reality is, as you begin to see this and you begin to write this and you begin to capture all this, you're going to realize you actually are to blame for some of what it is that you're dealing with. And I get it. There's so many other people we can blame. These people, the system, the man. Got it. But also you. Because there's 2 hours, I guarantee by the time we're finished looking at this, per day almost, that we can find that would be things that you can use to transform your life. Okay? As we're being honest, as we're going through this routine, right, we're going to find, though, here's the thing that you're going to find. Opportunities for change. That's what we're looking for. At the end of those 2 weeks, I want us to find opportunities for the change, okay? And you're taking the time deliberately to sit down and figure out what it is that you're about, how you execute your day, what are the routines and habits that you're in are going to present yourself with the opportunities. You'll find that you have anywhere between 5 to 25 hours a week on your phone. I guarantee it. Like, just guarantee that you're going to find anywhere between 5 and 25 hours a week that you have on your phone. You're going to see how many times that you skip meals. And you're going to begin to realize that there's a correlation between the fatigue and your headaches and the last meal you ate. It's going to be there. You've been running around like, oh man, every afternoon I hit this spot, every time, da 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 da. And then you're looking and realize, oh shoot. It's not surprising that I'm experiencing these physical problems because I'm not eating right. All right. You're going to begin to see why you're so sedentary. You're going to begin to understand why you give certain people so much amount of time. And these things become inefficiencies in the system, in your routine, that we're going to optimize out of our routine as we create our battle rhythm. All right. And so you're going to have a greater understanding of how you're spending your most precious resource, your precious resource is time. And you're going to begin to see, watch this, what is the ROI for your routine? And for those of you who maybe not business experts, return on your investment. What am I getting back for what I'm putting in? Now, here's the thing. I mean, they just add this little warning, okay? You have to finish the 14 days before you try to make change, okay? You are going to have a huge urgency to try to make a change. You're gonna be like, oh, I gotta fix this right away. Give it the full 14 days, okay? Things change. 14 days is a pretty good snapshot of a person's life. It usually catches them with at least one paycheck, which is definitely going to be influential on what you do. It's going to catch a weekend, so we can see how you're hanging out with your friends and doing different things. It's going to catch some telework or some RTO rules that you might be having, a return to office. So there are a bunch of different things, life things that could happen in 14 days. It's going to give us a pretty good snapshot of where you are. Give it the full 14 days. But that being said, some of you, your lives are really like, you are 1 month to the next looks completely different. So in which case you may need to do a 30 to 90 day writing down of what it is that you're doing. Again, it's your journal, it's your life. So you adjust it however you need to. If you can't go hour by hour, just at the end of the day, recap what you do. But just remember, you cannot trust your brain to remember everything that you did. If you don't believe me, what did you have for dinner two days ago? Yep, exactly. That's my point. Okay. So 2 weeks for most people is a good window. Typically captures your major events in life. And that's what we want you to do, because this is going to bring you awareness. And that's the first part of bringing about change. Okay. Now, we got awareness. Let's talk about optimization. What do I do with what I just wrote down? Okay. If we're talking about life optimization, versus a routine getting somebody else's goals accomplished. When it's time for me to do my battle rhythm, the first thing, sorry, let me get my notes. The first thing that I want to do for optimization is decide what stays versus what goes. And again, it's okay if the job has to stay, okay? And the reason that matters is because if my job is paying my bills, it probably needs to stay, especially if I'm responsible for somebody else. Now, if I'm not, and I can just go live on somebody's couch and bum out while I figure out all the rest of the stuff, okay, maybe that's an option. But if you've got responsibilities and stuff, don't come home and quit your job and be like, hey, babe, see, Dr. Justin said that my routine was helping somebody else get paid, and now I'm gonna optimize my life. Negative. We're trading, okay? We're willing to trade this temporarily to accomplish this if necessary. All right, so optimization. How do I begin to optimize this? I have to determine what stays versus what goes. And definitely don't do this if I know I'm going to become an entrepreneur, or I know some goal that I'm going to go after is going to change my life, and I'm still keeping my 2 to 10 hours a week of social media scrolling, my bad eating habits, my poor workout routine. I'm just gonna put fitness. And whatever other things that you identified during those 2 weeks were things that you didn't want to have. Okay? If this is 8 to 10 hours a day, why would I quit my job? I just missed the whole point. I need the job, it's gonna pay the bills. I need to stop social media scrolling so much. I need to stop eating so poorly. I need to stop getting such terrible sleep. I need to stop not working out. Maybe I exchange 2 hours of that social media scrolling. I take it down to 1 hour. Again, it's the best thing that happens in my day, right? I hate my job, I hate my life, I hate everything else about it. So when I get on the social media and I start scrolling for 1 hour, I feel good again. How can we take the 2 down to 1 and then take the poor fitness routine and make that into an hour? 30 minutes of walking and then maybe 30 minutes of just some light weights. I'm not saying going to the gym and become the strongest person. I'm saying get your butt up and walk around your neighborhood. Meet your neighbors. Smile at them, say hi to somebody. Because now you might find that actually the best part of your day isn't getting in your bed and scrolling on social media. It's actually the fact that you get to see your neighbors and, oh my goodness, y'all just inadvertently formed a walking club and y'all get together every evening and you walk around and you're feeling great and better about yourself when you come back into the house. Now I begin to optimize this. I begin to create a rhythm. Remember, not every mountain is about making more money or changing the world. It may just be about feeling better about yourself. My goal is to feel better about myself. My goal is to meet my neighbors. My goal is to have better relationships. My goal is to just lose a couple of pounds. My goal is to be a little more active. My goal, and so many of those goals are tied into how I know my neighbor and how well I know my community and how well I interact with these things. And one of the worst things about the social media piece in our phones nowadays is that it pulls us into ourselves and away from people, even as we're more connected to more people than we ever have been. So what I'm saying to you is whatever your goal is, your routine, this routine for somebody else is all about them making money, but your battle rhythm for your life is about you having a quality experience while you're here on this world. About you liking yourself and the person who you are at the end of the day. And the only way that can happen is if you optimize that. All right, so the first thing I gotta do is I have to decide what stays and I have to decide what goes. And then I have to be ruthless about this, okay? So we're gonna do that. Okay. All right, so we talked about, let me just write that there, stays versus what goes. All right, second thing I want to do is time management. Are you allocating your time properly? Remember, time is your most important resource. So time management is really time time management is really time allocation, okay? And I like this word allocation so much because it is the idea that you tell your time what to do as opposed to your time telling you what to do. Now, I will give you 10 hours. All right, we'll give you 10 hours. I will give you 10 hours, 5 hours a week, 5 days a week. All right, which is 50 hours. Somebody check my math. All right, but watch this. There's 168 hours in a week. That math is not right, I don't think. Let me just double check right quick. I thought it was. I've used that number before, but I think maybe now, as I'm thinking about it, it might have been a number for another thing. Let me make sure though. 24 times 7. Oh, no, I was right, sorry. Still good. All right, so it's 168 hours in a week. I'm gonna give 50 hours to the routine. I'm gonna give 49 hours to sleep. Somebody help me out. I know y'all out there doing the math. One of y'all probably already got it. 50 plus 49, 168. I had 69 hours left. How are you allocating those 69 hours? Now, the 49 hours, that's roughly, right? Some of us sleep a little less, 6 hours, so you would actually have an additional 7 hours if you're getting 7 hours of sleep there, or 6 hours of sleep a night. Some of us maybe sleep a little more, so 8 hours gets you closer to 56 hours, which makes it, 62 hours. What are you doing with that time? And is what you're doing with that time what you want to? When I decided I wanted to be Dr. Justin, I couldn't tell my job, like, hey, I'm gonna work less hours because I'm working on becoming Dr. Justin. I had to look at my life and say, I'm gonna cut out watching sports so that I can get this doctorate. I know, I just lost you. All the guys were like, well, not gonna happen for me, I'm not gonna be a doctor. Okay, but my mountain has changed the world. How could I say I wanted to change the world if I kept doing the same thing I was doing and I had 69 hours and I'm spending, guys, let's be honest, 3 hours on Thursday, 12 hours on Sunday, another 3 hours on Monday. That's 20, that's 15, 18. So Saturday, any college football fans out there on Saturday, that's another 12 hours. Well, that's about 36 hours right there. 36 hours minus 69, that only leaves me with 36 hours. That's what I allocated my time to. Nope, I had to change that. I need all 36 of those hours so that I can work on this doctorate, so that I can be Dr. Justin and I can get out there and inspire other people. So I'm optimizing my life by allocating the leftover time that I have. Again, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to stop this part of the routine. This gets you paid. It's an exchange. I'm getting money. It may not be worth it. Guys, I can acknowledge the fact that my job is getting over on me right now. I can also acknowledge the fact that I got a plan in order to get over on them. Okay? So stays versus what goes. Time management, time allocation, 168 hours a week. How much time do you have left over? What are you doing with that time? Okay, make sure that is what you want to do with that time. Okay, so time management. Allocation. This is just two elements, right? When I begin to optimize, have I decided what stays versus what goes, and have I allocated my additional time? All right, now what happens next? After doing that, we have transformation. Transformation. You won't be the same even if you look the same. This is so good. This is so good right here. I wish so many people could get this piece. All right, so many times people think that initially when I'm beginning to make a change that everybody needs to be aware of it and everybody needs to see it. Okay, when I started making these videos, when I started getting into this program, there was only like a handful of people who even knew that I was doing the business stuff. Primarily, they were my family, of course, my wife, who's co-partner with this whole piece, and a couple of really close friends who I let in on what I was trying to do. Outside of that, nobody else gets to know about what's going on. But under all that cover, under all that quietness, excellence was being done regularly, in and out. And as I optimized my life to accomplish the things I wanted to, listen, when I became Dr. Justin Lloyd, the only reason people knew about that was because I posted graduation photos. That was it. Right now, if you and I had just walked past each other, you wouldn't know I was Dr. Justin Lloyd. If I introduced myself and said, hey, I'm Justin, and I said, nice to meet you. Mr. Lloyd, it's a pleasure. What's your name? You wouldn't know it just from the way I introduce myself. Now, after we speak a little bit and we get to know each other a little better, you would begin to be like, oh, I assume that there's some additional things going on there, but you wouldn't necessarily know it because there's no indicator guaranteed on the outside from something that's transformed and changed on the inside. The way I think about things, the way I'm executing, the way I'm operating, the way I'm seeing things, the way I'm analyzing and taking all that information in, well, all that stuff is occurring inside. So like, I'm not the same, but I might look the same. And I need you to understand that because even on whatever journey, whatever your climb is, as you begin to optimize your routine, yeah, I'm still gonna come into work. I'm still gonna hit the water cooler up. But I realized that I was spending 20 minutes at the water cooler and I could have spent 5 minutes at the water cooler and 15 minutes on my break reading a book. Sure, I got an hour lunch, so I'm gonna spend 30 minutes eating and enjoying and hanging out with the friends, but then I'm gonna take 30 minutes and go back and read a couple more pages on this book that I'm trying to work through, the certificate that I'm trying to attain. And then my friends at first are gonna be like, oh, that's weird, why are you doing that? But they're gonna do what they've always done. They're gonna keep laughing and joking and hanging out with whoever's there while I continue to do the things I need to do in order to ascend and attain whatever it is that I want to. Because I know I'm not gonna work this job and do somebody else's routine for the rest of my life. I gotta optimize my own life. And so whether I'm trying to get better at vision casting, it's a Saturday morning difference when everybody's up and they're all getting ready to watch the game because they stayed up late on Friday night. So their Saturday starts at noon. My Saturday starts at 8 or 9. Nobody else was out running this morning, huh? No, because this is my life optimized. I'm not doing somebody else's routine. Do you understand that the world, like capitalism, wants you to do the same routine? They want you to turn on the TV right at the same time as everybody else and watch the same sports so that they can show you the same advertisements, so that y'all all buy the same wings, so that you all buy in the same cars, so that you're all buying and living the same lifestyle. And everybody is going to do that in their own home, on their own screens, unless you change it. Then you're like, you know what? I'm not going to watch these commercials. And on every commercial, I'm just gonna drop and do 20 push-ups. What would happen to you if instead of watching commercials, you did push-ups? If your goal was, I want to get stronger and I want to look better. What kind of confidence would you have when you rolled your shoulders back and you stood tall and you knew, like walking around, yo, I'm a dude who can knock out 100 push-ups without getting tired. And everybody else is talking about, hey man, yo, I just bought this car, I can't even afford it, I can't pay for it. What made you do it? Man, you know, that commercial was so fire. And you're like, what commercial? I was busy doing push-ups. I was busy working on my body. You was busy breaking your bank account. So this transformation that's occurring is going to occur on the inside first before anybody ever sees it. And you have to be accepting. Now, watch this. Transformation often looks like, because we like this word, but we don't like this word. Change, okay? And how can I change and what areas do I need to change? Well, first, I gotta change my mindset. The way I think about things. How do I change my thinking about things? I change in my mindset. I change about the way I think via words. So how do I change via words? Stuff like this, right? You're taking the time right now. You've invested roughly almost 35, 39 minutes of time invested in changing your mindset and coming to a deeper understanding and a greater awareness and a greater realization. Words, podcasts and places like you trust. Oh, and also, if you want to stay changing your mindset via the words that I'm speaking, please like and subscribe to the video. Words, reading. I tell my kids all the time, leaders are readers, Lloyds are leaders, so Lloyds are readers. It goes hand in hand together. And I have a ton of books available for them to see at all times. And I'd have more books if I bought every book in real print that I buy on my phone, but I read way too many books to be spending that kind of money. So I have to be selective about the books that I have. And I'm always pulling books off my shelves and being like, here you go. So I'm creating the culture. I'm optimizing their life. I'm giving them the battle rhythm that we don't watch a bunch of TV, we read a bunch of books. So when you're like, oh, what are the things that I can do in order to be better for the generation that's to follow me, even if the example I had wasn't the greatest, well, that's where it starts. You change the words and the mentality that you have by reading books about people who did the things that you wanted to do, and then you come to the realization that what they did, you can do, and in turn, you give that to your kids so that they can become better than you were. Words. It's all words. It's all a mindset. And here's the reality. Your words will affect, somebody's words will affect that mindset no matter what. So you see the words that you intentionally feed your mindset, optimizing my life via a battle rhythm, or it's the words somebody else said in a routine. Hey, look, Sally, you aren't doing the job here at this organization. We expect you to perform like this. You're going to need to work longer in order to hit these metrics. And until you get better, you're going to be on probation and suspension, which is then going to lead to a whole bunch of negative thoughts in your head. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable enough. This is terrible. And there was no advice given on how to do it. So now I got to try to figure this out on my own. And it becomes a whole thing. Or you can optimize your life for success. You do that via words. So I got to accept that change is going to come via mindset, via words. Change is also going to come in my physical. All right. Physicality in my physical does not necessarily mean that like I'm working out, but it could, right? Like, because as I begin to learn more, I begin to do better. I begin to eat better. I begin to make better choices. And all those things are going to have an effect on me physically. My confidence, the way in which I carry myself, the way in which I go back and forth, all those things are going to occur. And those things, listen, here we go. The way my clothes fit, the size of my shoes may change. Right? Now, who can see all those things? Most people aren't paying attention to the way your clothes fit. They're not seeing it. But over the course of time, they will begin to eventually notice. If your house is dirty right now, because it never really occurred to you that it was important for you to clean it, and then you begin to optimize your life for the things that you want to accomplish and achieve, you begin to read some books and realize that actually cleanliness is very important. You begin to straighten things up. Who's going to see the inside of your house? Unless you invite them. And really, if people knew you had a bad house, they probably weren't trying to come over in the first place. So now you're going to be like, you walk into your house and you're surprised. You're like, oh man, look at that. And this leads to additional transformations. This leads to additional changes. This leads to a becoming of the person who you mean to be. And we call that, final slide, fruition. This is the outward evidence of the inward change. Now we're adding letters to the end of your name. Now we're promoting you. Now we're giving you additional responsibilities and opportunities. Now people are beginning to be like, wow, oh my goodness, you look really good. What changed? Wow, look at the way, that outfit looks really good on you. Man, something seems different about you. You seem to be walking with more confidence. You seem to know what you're doing a little more. Like, that was a really great idea. How did you come up with that? I didn't expect that from you. Fruition, the outward evidence of the inward change. When I begin to optimize, this is a whole piece. This is why we're doing this. Because a person who's at the top of the mountain knows something the person at the bottom of the mountain doesn't know. Knows something that the person at the bottom of the mountain doesn't know. They know that they can do hard things. They're unsure about it. And when you know that you can do hard things, when you know you can lead yourself, when you know you can exercise self-discipline, when you know you can execute at a high level, that shows up outside of you. You drive to work in a new car. Somebody's like, how'd you get that? We made the same amount of money. I saved my money. I invest my money. With who? That's the first time they have any indication that every one of those half hours for the last 2 years that you spent on your lunch break, sitting in your car, reading through information, lessons learned, best practices, reading journals, reading all the key metrics that will tell you whether or not it was good to invest in a business actually paid off. That's the first time that they're gonna have knowledge of that, is when they see you pull up in a new car. Who you know? None of that matter. It's the fruit of your effort. The first time you stand up and you present an idea and somebody's like, hey, come see me after. That's the evidence of what you've been working on. That's the optimization of your life. It's you taking charge and saying, no longer will I be somebody who just does for somebody else whenever they want whatever they want. I will continue to exchange on my own terms, but I'm using this temporarily to accomplish the thing that's most important to me, which is the optimization of my life. Fruition, the outward evidence of the inward change. It's the accomplishment of climbing mountains. It's the knowledge that, yeah, you get 50 hours a week. Well, those other 119, no, that's probably bad math. I'm not a math doctor, guys. Whatever the difference between 168 and 50 is, that's my time. And I allocate my resources and I handle my finances. And I'm a person who starts stuff and finishes it and accomplishes things. And if that's you, and the only thing stopping you from doing this to doing this is that you didn't know, well, you got no excuses now, because now you know. But if you need help, some additional assistance, hit us up on the website. We'll be glad to sit down with you one-on-one and help you optimize your life. I hope this has been helpful, guys. Thanks for being here, a part of the journey. Hope this helps you to get up the side of your mountain. And you know what I say, keep climbing. I'll see you at the mountaintop.